Alright, for the HTML basics building a web page. So this one's a little bit, this one's easy to set up, but you have to literally follow the instructions. So I tried to give clues when I was creating this document of how to put this page together. First thing you do, obviously read the instructions. Use the following steps to create a basic web page. Don't forget to include the content within the elements where necessary. Make your code easy to read by including tabs and spaces. Don't worry about extra spaces showing up in your code due to white space collapsing. Save your files as a .html document and then preview it in a browser and submit to Canvas. So that's the first thing that we want to do. We look through the steps. So first step, start your HTML document with the required declaration doc type. So the first thing we need to do is we need to open our notepad. So I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to use WordPad, text edit I mean. But on a PC you want to use Notepad. Right, so I'm going to close this out. So I'm going to go File, New, and I'm going to start off my web page. So the first thing I'm reading here, let's make this so that first thing I read here says start your HTML document with the required declaration type. So I see it right there, so I'm going to write doc type. And remember, your doc type doesn't matter if it's uppercase or lowercase. And then I'm missing what it needs right there. So I know I'm building an HTML basic web page, so the document type needs to be HTML. So I'm going to write HTML. You can include the 5 if you want, but HTML should be fine. So I wrote doc type HTML. And remember, it doesn't matter if that's uppercase or lowercase. It is not a tag. Remember, all your tags and elements are lowercase. So I'm going to click right here. The next thing it says, open the HTML element and specify the language attribute. So I'm going to create an HTML element now because it said HTML. And then I'm going to open it up. So this is what an HTML element looks like, right? So if I open this up, what I'm doing is I'm adding some spaces in there, and I'm going to type in lang equals, so this is my attribute. Remember, attributes always have an equal sign and quotation marks. So language equals, and I'm going to write what language I'm writing this program in. So if I'm writing in French, I'm going to write FR, right? So language French. If you're writing in English, you're going to use the English abbreviation. If you're writing in English US, you're going to use the US English version. All right, so I'm placing that in there. Next, I got to write in my head element. It says in the head section, set the page title with the title. All right, so I'm going to write head, right? And then I'm going to write title. And I'm going to write another title. So I'm closing my title. Remember, whenever you have HTML tags, you're going to have 2 of them. So unless it's an empty tag, and there's only a few of those. So title, I have my opening title tag right here, and I have my closing title tag right there. So all up till now, I've only been doing opening tags. So my HTML opening tag and my head opening tag. But this one, I'm going to have a title tag. So I'm going to set my page title. I'm going to title it HTML Basics. And that's going to be the title of my web page. All right. So I'm going to click enter. And then I'm going to close out my head tag, right? Right. So I have my opening head tag and my closing head tag. I have my opening title and my closing title. Right. Next thing I'm going to do is says move to the body section. So I guess what comes after your head is your body, right? So I'm going to hit enter and I'm going to type in body, right? So remember, the head is just for things that are for the browser. So you don't see anything that's written in the head. That's just for the browser. But anything that I place in the body tags, that'll be what I'm actually viewing on the web page. So if you look at this canvas page right here, all this information in here is inside the body tag. And I can actually show you this. If I were to open this, let's edit this page in Canvas so you can see kind of what it looks like on my end. I'm going to click on my code editor. So look, I can see all this is in the body. So instructions, I have this steps, it's bolded and strong because it's important. I have a ordered list, and I have all my list items. Right? So, and then I have my list type, I have it as a decimal. All right? So you can see all the code, and eventually this code will make sense to you. But right now in the beginning, it might just be a little bit daunting to you, but it's very simple code, and this creates our pages that you see on Canvas. Alright, so let's go back to this. I'm going to make this smaller again. So I'm on step 4, move to the body section where the main content goes. So this is my main content, right? And then I'm going to add a comment to provide a note of instruction. So if you look right here in my example, I show you what a comment is. I'm just going to copy this, Control C, and paste it in here. And I'm going to write my comment. This is where the main information for my page will go. All right. Remember, as long as I have this comment in between this syntax, so I have angle bracket, exclamation point, dash dash, and I close it with dash dash angle bracket. As long as it's in between that, I won't see it. Alright, so the next thing says create a heading with the largest size. And so I have right there H1. So I'm going to copy that H1 and I'm going to create a heading. So my heading is going to say basic heading, basic large heading. Right? And then I always want to close my tags. You got to get used to closing these. So I'm going to hit angle bracket slash H1 slash. All right. So I'm just going to keep moving down the rest of my page, adding a line break. So let's add a line break, and I tell you what a line break is. So we're going to separate a line break, add a line break to separate content. So I'm going to copy this and add in a line break. All right. So a line break is an empty tag. So certain tags like line break and HR, horizontal rule, they're empty. That means I don't need to have this little slash on them. All right. Image is another one that doesn't need a slash. So whenever I'm using these tags, I'm just going to make sure that I'm just adding it in there one time. All right. So I want you to continue all the way down to the bottom of this. Save it as HTML basic webpage.html. So I'm going to go File. Once you complete it, so I've only gotten up to step 7, but I want you to complete it, and then I'm going to go Save As, and I'm going to title this HTML basic webpage.html, and I'm going to save it. We'll save your document and go ahead and submit it to Canvas, and it should be fine. All right.